Good morning, race fans and truckers. My name is Sam. Welcome to Motor Racing and Gravy. We are at Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway Motorsports Park. This is my first time here, and I thought I would share a fact with you. Up until last night, again, I've never been here. I did not know something that most of you probably did know. I really thought this track was in St. Louis, Missouri. I thought the track was in Missouri. It isn't. It's in Illinois. You probably knew that. I did not know that. And the way I found out was there's a truck stop directly across from the raceway, and I noticed that they were selling Illinois keychains and magnets, not Missouri keychains and magnets. We're in Illinois. So now I'm on board with the rest of you. Anyway, so we parked this morning at 10 a.m. Practice tech first, practice qualify. Then we race tomorrow. Race is supposed to start at 12:30 tomorrow. Once again, I feel like I'm saying this a lot lately. Weather doesn't look good. I mean, whoa. What can you do? I'm sick of the weather. I'm also tired of hearing myself gripe about the weather, because there's no one to gripe at. It's just it is what it is. The weather is not race. They're not motorsports fans. I thought they were not NASCAR fans, but after last week in Indy, they just don't like racing. The weather doesn't like racing. Anyway, we're gonna park these things, and I'm gonna have to learn the lay of the land because I've never been here before. So, wish me luck. Thanks for watching. Well, today we do things a little different in that we're parking. This team, we're parking next to last. We're going in an opposite order, just because of the way that the garage is laid out. So we'll go in next to last, but we'll be in the front in the garage. There have been a few news stories this week. It's been a busy news week for NASCAR. If you've kept up with it, even if you hadn't kept up with it, if you just keep up with sports news at all, you'd have to be living under a rock to miss some of these news stories. A couple of them, because of all the big news, a couple of the smaller ones have flown under the radar. One is a story about Joey Logano that I personally find entertaining. Joey Logano this past week got, are you ready for this? His CDL. Joey Logano is now a truck driver. I think it has to do with the fact that his dad owns a trash company, owns trucks. So I guess I don't know. I hope that at least once he drives his hauler to the track. That'd be fun. There are a few drivers who've done that over the years. Carl Long still drives his hauler to the track, even though he's not racing anymore. Who else? David Gilliland, a truck driver. He's drove his haulers before. I feel like there's more than that. I want to say Eric Almirola. Not sure. One of the downsides to parking in the back, I'd kind of forgotten about this, was that it's a lot of stop and go. You just gotta wait for everybody to get parked, so it has this accordion effect. So now I have to figure out how I'm gonna fill 30 minutes of video into something amusing. Another news story you may not have heard about was that the Charlotte Roval has been reconfigured. I'm not sure of the turn number, but the turn that leads the cars back onto the main oval into NASCAR turn 1. They call it NASCAR 1, I guess. It's still NASCAR. The turn that leads the cars back onto the main oval into what would be the oval turn 1 has been reconfigured into a very, very tight hairpin turn, similar to the last turn at Sonoma. The bad news is for those who are wanting the oval to go away and NASCAR to go back to the oval in October, this probably means that you're guaranteed at least 2 more years of racing on the oval. They took the time and the money to reconfigure that turn. They're probably going to be on there for at least this season, at least next season, before they even consider going back to the oval layout. One of my first impressions of this place, aside from it being a really nice facility, is that it looks and feels a lot bigger than it really is. It's a 1.25 mile track, so slightly smaller than your average intermediate. I guess because the turns are tight and the straightaways are so long, it just looks like a very large racetrack. I walked around late last night, behind the grandstands on the front stretch, and it seems like the area behind the front stretch grandstand here has a lot more of like a fair type atmosphere than some of the other places. But that's a cool thing. It kind of reminds me of on a bigger scale, but it's similar to Indianapolis Raceway Park. There's a similar fair type midway kind of atmosphere going on behind the grandstands. As of yesterday, NASCAR said that they have received a request for a waiver from Hendrick Motorsports on behalf of Kyle Larson for playoff eligibility. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, climb out from under that rock. My thoughts on the waiver, I don't know. I feel like they had good intentions when they wrote the rule, but it's not. I think it's gotten away from its intended purpose. As far as whether or not Kyle Larson should get a waiver, I feel like he's going to, and yeah, he should for just one simple reason. Forget all the other reasons, because we've given waivers to everybody else. We've given waivers to people for guys who've been injured on track, off track, people who've been suspended. So yeah, for that reason alone, they kind of have to give one to Kyle. I think at the end of they can't change it in the middle of the season, but I think at the end of the season, they need to adjust the rule to at least be more specific. I part of me originally felt like they should just do away with it altogether. No waivers. If you miss a race, oh well. That's it. The only reason I've softened up on that, I was listening to Sirius XM NASCAR radio yesterday, and Chocolate Myers brought up a good point. He said that, guys back in the day, they didn't have the waiver, and guys would race injured who had no business racing. They were putting themselves and other drivers at risk. Therefore, they probably had no business racing. And this eliminates that. So he has a good point. So, but just be specific about it. If you're injured for an on-track incident, you get a waiver, nothing else, or whatever they decide. There's no perfect solution. That's the downside of this. There's no obvious perfect solution. They just need to be specific about it and then stick to it. If you're wondering why the camera's changed, the transition changed, my camera in the windshield got too hot, decided to shut off, which is really frustrating. That's a $300-400 camera. And it's not doing anything unusual. It's just sitting in my windshield recording. It's not even hot outside, so there's not like the sunlight is beaming down on it, making it too hot. It shouldn't be getting too hot. Anyway, that's why that happened. The other big news this week, I'm sure you've heard, Stewart-Haas Racing has announced they are shutting down at the end of the 2024 season. And I have to echo what a lot of other people have said. I feel bad. I feel for all the members of that team. I'm not, it's not so much about, whether they're going to have jobs or not. I'm sure they will, because all those teams are going to go other places. I'm sure they will all land somewhere. All the ones who want to be somewhere, they will get the jobs. It just stinks to, for those guys who have been working there and living under the impression that the team is putting forth 100% effort, and it feels kind of like Tony Stewart and Gene Haas are acknowledging that they just haven't had the commitment. And yeah, we do this for our living, but we do this for the competition. Everybody who's in this is we get a paycheck because we have to provide for our families, but you're in this for the competition.
way. Had the back perfect. I just had to fix that nose.
Thank you.
That's the hard part. Get the back.
This has been slow.